Human beings want to belong. We are innately collaborative and flourish when we feel connected to our teams and our company culture. A sense of belonging fuels trust and engagement, and an engaged team is an effective team. When we feel we belong, we contribute more, we communicate more openly. All of this create a sense of a safe, productive environment where new ideas can flourish. Hi, I'm Natasha Kasimtseva, and I'm your project doctor. As a project leader, I've managed a variety of teams, small and large, with team members from different cultures, backgrounds, time zones, and sometimes countries. Being from Russia myself and working in the United States, I personally live out the journey of diversity every day. When you bring together a team with diverse talents and backgrounds, cultivating the sense of belonging becomes even more imperative because it doesn't exist organically. It has to be cultivated with care. There is so much to be said about belonging and engagement. With the world reopening and team members going back to office, I want to talk with you about some team building practices that might actually be deteriorating a sense of belonging for your team. I picked several examples. See if you recognize any of them. But before we jump in, please click the subscribe button to support this channel. I really appreciate it. Already subscribed? Thank you. Let's jump right in. The first example of the team building practice is marshmallow and spaghetti tower game. I come across this fun team building activity very often. I've played it myself, I've seen other teams play this game, I've seen this game even being referenced in books. So, what is this game? The marshmallow and spaghetti tower game is a challenge where a group of people is divided into teams. Each team is given the same number of spaghetti and marshmallows. Then teams compete to build the tallest tower using these materials. Sounds fun, right? The play element of this exercise is wonderful. However, there is a catch that I really want to bring your attention to, and that is the attitude toward food in different cultures. If you come from the culture or an environment where food was scarce, or you were brought up to regard the food as a valuable resource, playing with food might feel offensive, wasteful, and straight up wrong. The trauma around food scarcity is far more common than you might think. It's such a personal and painful subject that people are unlikely to talk about it. So instead of a joyful experience of bonding and fun having, playing with food might leave someone feeling uncomfortable, unattached, and sometimes resentful. I'd like to tell you very briefly about my own story with food. I was brought up by my grandparents, who both grew up during World War II and the following years of recovery. They experienced famine, and it shaped their attitude towards food. I have a lot of friends and colleagues who have similar stories, grown up with heightened value and appreciation for food. To this day, I will not throw away bread, and I repurpose any leftovers so that they're not wasted. So how can we modify this game to make it better? Here's the solution. If you're looking to have some playful exercise with your team, building something out of marshmallows or potato chips, I would like you to take a pause. Does it have to be food? My recommendation is to still have the exercise, but use neutral materials that can be found around the office. Pens, pencils, paper, glue, tape. Can you imagine the tower that can be built with paper clips and sticky notes? How fun is that? The second team building practice that might be doing more bad than good to building a sense of belonging is after-work events that include social drinking. Socializing after work is a great indicator of healthy team dynamic. However, if you are arranging a dedicated team building gathering that will be after work hours and will include social drinking, it is good to consider a couple of things. Team building events after work are more likely to ostracize team members with commitments outside of work. For example, your team members with families and small children. If your team building event forces someone into a decision between family time and work, it probably will not do much good to increase the sense of belonging. After-work events with social drinking might also be problematic for people who don't drink or who are uncomfortable around alcohol consumption. So, what can be done? Here are some ideas. Team building events are important, so is the timing. Consider having your team building event during work hours to include your team members with commitments outside of work. Also, bonding over social games, interactions, and activities is equally effective as bonding over a drink. The third example is the game of trivia. Trivia is a game in which players who can play individually or in a team are asked questions about different topics, and they have to get as many correct answers as possible. Normally, contestants are organized in teams, and the team who gets the highest score wins. Trivia contests are common in team building events, so how can we make it most fun and really supercharge the bonding experience? Imagine an international team brought together for a game of trivia. It is Christmas time, so we can expect the questions to be about Christmas or winter festivities. How fun! Well, all of the questions in the contest were based on American TV shows and movies popular in the 70s and 80s. So team members who didn't grow up in this cultural context in 70s and 80s had no point of reference to really engage and participate in the game, let alone win it. There are many things you can do to make the game of trivia more fun and inclusive for all your team members. When you work out the game of trivia questions, it's a good idea to ask your team what their interests are and what topics they're interested in. That would reflect the diversity of your team. In the case of a Christmas-themed game of trivia, it's a good idea to diversify it with questions about other winter holidays and traditions from the cultures and groups on your team. Use it as a learning opportunity. Diversify your questions to give voice to different life experiences, interests, passions, and cultural context. Team learn about each other in a gamified way is a great recipe to build common understanding, appreciation, and uncover hidden assumptions. A sense of belonging brings teams together, strengthens relationships and employee loyalty. It is a crucial component not only for teams but also personal success and happiness. What do you think? Do you have a sense of belonging, and how do you nurture it in your team? Are there any team building activities that you enjoy that helped you create a sense of belonging? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. There are a few authors who inspired me to make this video. I will link to them in the description below. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that like button. Click that subscribe button down below and make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss my next videos. Thank you, and I will see you on my next video.